How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be going over the Game Week 17 preview. As I usually do, ask for your questions over on Twitter and you guys delivered yet again. We're getting into the swing of things in this festive period fixture list and the fixtures are coming thick and fast. So are the videos. So stay tuned for more videos coming up this week, the team selection, and hopefully I'll be covering a Christmas tips video. So subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you're notified for these upcoming videos. Otherwise, hopefully Game Week 16 was a great game week for you guys and you're ready for Game Week 17. A lot of good fixtures on the board here and a lot of captaincy options which we'll be all covering in this video. But let's get into the preview. We have had our first sponsorship on the Dayvy FPL channel, so thanks a lot to OneFootball. OneFootball is a footballing app that gives you live notifications of the games that you're following, so it makes the perfect FPL companion app, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, and that's why I was happy to do a sponsorship with them as I use the product. So down below there's a link for all you need to know about OneFootball. You can go download the app on iOS or Android. It's completely free, so no commission or anything here, so you don't have to worry about that, but I use it, so should you. So firstly, a Champions League reminder here. We usually do give you a reminder, but this Champions League reminder is quite an important one. As we spoke about in last week's preview, this is the final group stage fixture. So a lot of teams still have to qualify. The likes of Liverpool still have to win their game to qualify, but there are some teams that have already, such as Spurs and Man City. So those players might be getting a rest, but otherwise keep your eyes on your players in your squad and on your transfer list, as there might be a couple of injuries. These games are going to be quite high intensity games, so there could be some injuries there. Touch wood that there won't be any injuries, and we'll be having a full FPL squad into this festive period, but I just wanted to give you a reminder so that's on your mind and you don't kind of neglect this fixture. The watch list has changed drastically since last game week, and we have 3 new additions on it. Probably quite popular additions. I know a lot of you guys already have some of these players in your squads, especially the likes of the Spurs midfielders, as we've been covering them for the past couple game weeks now. But Son and Ali come straight into my watch list after that 5-0 victory against Burnley. That just shows that they are doing it against better sides. I know that Burnley didn't put on an exactly perfect defensive display, but I do think that Spurs were just good on the day, and I think they're going to be continuing this form into that festive period. So we have Heung-min Son here, the more expensive option, coming in at 10 mil, but he backs it up with the stats there. 5 goals, 9 assists, having played more minutes than Ali, but that just could have been from injury or maybe Ali falling out of contention with Pochettino. But otherwise, Ali is also performing great since Jose Mourinho took him under his wing. He's 8.7 million, so a little bit cheaper, so if you do need to save some cash there, we could maybe transfer the likes of Kevin De Bruyne out for Ali, or even Kevin De Bruyne for Son if we want a little bit of an upgrade. But these 2 players are doing great. 5 goals and 3 assists for Ali, and look at those minutes. Played a lot less minutes, but his stats are really good. The other player that comes in is Grealish from Aston Villa. Comes in at 6 mil, so more of a budget option there, but has managed 4 goals and 4 assists and basically played every single minute. The reason why Jack Grealish is in this lineup is that Aston Villa's fixtures turn a little bit now, and over the festive period I'm expecting him to get lots of minutes. Probably one of the most nailed players in FPL, so should be getting a lot of minutes, and that should equal a lot of FPL points. But these 3 all attacking options there. We've kind of shored up the defense in my own personal squad, so that's why I've kind of looked for more attacking options in this week's watch list. So let's get on to the first question. The first question was basically how to address Game Week 18. So those of you who don't know about Game Week 18, Liverpool and West Ham has been postponed due to Liverpool travelling to Qatar for the Club World Cup. So that means that Liverpool will not be playing, and those Liverpool options in your lineups will not be getting any points. So there's 3 ways you can kind of deal with it. The first way is using a chip. That will be the wild card or the free hit. Probably a lot of more people will be using the free hit, as a lot of people have used the wild card, but me personally, I think it'll be the wild card, and a lot of my viewers probably will be using it as well. But that does not mean that you can't use your free hit. If you think that this is the game week for your free hit, then use it, but I would personally advise from it. The reason being is I think later on in the game week fixtures, probably around that game week 30 mark, there's going to be a lot more blanks than just one game, and that's when you want your free hit to kind of navigate them. And you can even use your free hit maybe in a double game week to maximize maximize the points. So I don't think that this week is the week for the free hit. Main reason being Man City play Leicester, Spurs play Chelsea. So those are two tough games to predict there. So anything can happen in them, and I don't think you want premium options playing against each other on your free hit. So the other option you can go for is having a very strong bench. That would just mean benching your Manes, Salehs, Robertsons, and Trent Alexander-Arnolds. Just putting them on the bench and playing your bench players. That should also be quite profitable. The nice thing about that is they can come straight back into your lineup after game week 18 when they do play Leicester in game week 19. The other and the last option is to just simply transfer them out. That could also be an option. As I said, they do play Leicester in game week 19, so maybe you want to get rid of your Liverpool options and then bring them back in once they have better fixtures. So that's all up to you, but I would advise away from the free hit. I do think that you can get away with transferring them out, but I think the best option would be just to bench them. There are players like Kelly from Crystal Palace, comes in at about 4.3 now, was 4.1 million, but there's enough cheap bench fodder for you to actually get quite a respectable score this game week. And as I said, some tough fixtures in here, so I don't think the average is going to be particularly high, and I don't really think it's worth taking a hit to transfer out your Liverpool options. So just a little bit of a reminder about game week 18. It might be quite profitable to maybe bank a transfer this game week so that you can assess your options going into game week 18. But depending on what your squad is like, your options and what you do is all going to change. So a question about a 1 week punt. So as I said, I'll probably be wildcarding game week 18, and I think a lot of people are going to be following me on that one. So what players can we take a nice 1 week punt on? These are all three players that have great fixtures and have quite high ceilings if things do go their way. So the first one is James from Chelsea. Now, whether he does start, maybe keep an eye on that midweek fixture. If he is benched, then I think it's going to be a certainty that he does play on the weekend. But James has managed to rack up a couple of starts now, playing 90-minute fixtures, and he looks like he's a favoured fullback for Chelsea. And just look at that fixture. Bournemouth at home. That's almost a guaranteed clean sheet. And the thing about James is he loves getting forward. He's very good on the cross, and he even gets a couple shots and attempted assists. So I definitely think that he is a little bit of an out there punt. He comes in about the 5 million mark, so a little bit of a more affordable defender if you want to downgrade the likes of maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson. I wouldn't do that this game week, but I was just using that as an example. But James should be a great option. Chelsea, I know their defense hasn't been that great recently, but they're going to be looking to bounce back from that Everton defeat, and I think James could be your man for a little bit of a 1 week punt. The other player, and probably the safest option to go for, so out of these three, probably the option I would go for is Iheanacho from Leicester. Obviously, if you are tripled up on Leicester, that's a little bit unlucky, but he has started the last fixture and he's been getting some more form. I think you'll remember that last minute goal that he did score so that Leicester could seal the victory there, 2-1 victory. But last game week he also had a great result, scored some, assisted some, and that's exactly what we want, especially up against Norwich. So Norwich at home, probably the best fixture you can have right now, and Iheanacho looks like he will be starting. I don't really know what Brendan Rodgers is going to do. It seems like this last weekend he played with two up front, so the whole formation changed. But if he wants to go back to playing Vardy up front, then we might see an Iheanacho starting on the bench. But I think right now Rodgers will play the players that are in form, and that is going to be Iheanacho. So comes in below that 6 million mark, so I know that forward range is quite tough, and a couple of people are thinking about dropping JIMENEZ. And if you maybe want to take out another striker or upgrade someone like Greenwood, I think Iheanacho's a great shout. The other player is Naby Keita. So with Naby Keita, I know there's a lot of rotation about that Liverpool lineup, but my take on it, if he does not start midweek, I think he will start on the weekend. He had a full, nice game against Bournemouth, managed to score and assist one, so looks to be in a little bit more form. But the reason I'm saying is I think that midweek they'll play a more conservative midfield, probably of Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner or something like that. And then I think on the weekend they might be a little bit more expressive. It is a home game, it is against Watford, also a really nice fixture. And I think that Naby Keita has that explosive nature that you kind of want in a 1 week punt. The next question was kind of about Man City assets. You know me, I've been very patient with my Man City assets. I still own the likes of Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne. So a couple of people were asking me what to do with my Man City assets and should you be transferring Sterling out for someone like Son or Ali. So I think you have to take this question with a perspective. So me personally, I do still have my wild card. So my plan is to hold on to my Man City assets and then transfer them out before game week 18, as then the fixtures kind of turn. They play Leicester, Wolves away, and then Sheffield United. I know that recently those teams haven't looked the best defensively, but I still think that those are tougher fixtures than the likes that Spurs do have. So I think I'll be keeping him for the Arsenal fixture. I mean, if I've kept him for the Man United fixture, I might as well just keep them for one of the worst defenses in the Premier League. And I really do think Man City are going to smash Arsenal, as Arsenal aren't looking that great recently, and even when they were looking good, the defense was still really shaky. So I think I'll be keeping my Man City options, but I do think if you don't own a wild card, it might be time to transfer them out. I'm just being a little bit patient for, as I said, a 1 week punt, but I think that you got to keep those price rises under check. So I would be looking to transfer them out for the likes of Son or Ali, whether it be Raheem Sterling or Kevin De Bruyne, and that's going to have to be up to you. I don't really know if there's a better option out of those two, so just pick your one and then pick your Spurs mid and then just go for it. So the other question was drop JIMENEZ, a player that was quite an essential own early on in the season, has recently seen a turn of form, a couple price drops which is worrying managers, but I do think if you own JIMENEZ, you have to keep him for that Norwich fixture. We talked about game week 18, a lot of teams are playing tough game weeks, Man City versus Leicester, Spurs versus Chelsea, there are not many teams with great fixtures, and look at that Wolves fixture, Norwich away, that's an excellent fixture for Norwich, so I think you have to keep him. Might even be a little bit of a differential now that everyone's transferring him out, but I think you have to keep him for that Norwich fixture, as he might be a mega player in that game week 18 where scores could be low. JIMENEZ could be scoring a lot of goals there, so you do have to keep him for that. But then I think after that Norwich fixture, it does look like a transfer out. I think there's better options with better fixtures that should be good, but I think as an owner, if you do own him, you got to keep him for that Norwich fixture. But if you do want to take a little bit of a punt, I don't really see any reason why not to. But there's a question about dropping JIMENEZ for Abraham or Rashford. So my preferred option is Marcus Rashford. Just look at those fixtures. Lovely fixtures over that Christmas period. Marcus Rashford looks nailed in that lineup. Reason being, they don't have that many centre forwards. They do have the likes of Greenwood, but I don't think that Solskjaer trusts Greenwood that much. So I do expect Marcus Rashford to be getting a lot of minutes. He plays alongside Martial, who is a little bit injury prone. So if Martial does pick up another knock, that just makes Rashford an even more assured option. But I don't think you can drop Marcus Rashford in the form he is now. And just I said, look at those fixtures. Watford, Norwich at the end of it, and Arsenal. Great fixtures there. Burnley even looking a little bit suspect at the back there. So I think if you are going to transfer out JIMENEZ, it has to be for Marcus Rashford. Looks to be in form, great fixtures, and definitely one that is on my radar. So the last question we're going to kind of go over is the whole captaincy debate. And guys, yet again, like game week 15, there are a lot of great captaincy options. I said for last game week in the stream, if you did not catch it for the deadline with Dayvy stream, I don't think you could go wrong with many captaincy options for last game week. And you saw that with the Spurs, Leicester and Liverpool assets, they all kind of returned. But with this game week, I think it's going to be exactly the same. You have Jamie Vardy versus Norwich, Tammy Abraham versus Bournemouth, and Sadio Mane versus Watford. Those are probably the three best fixtures to have, and they're all at home. So you can kind of go for any of these. I'll be talking over each of them. I think Vardy, safe option, definitely going to be the most captained option, and I still think that we can't really be looking past him. I think last game week it was fine. I overestimated Aston Villa quite a bit. They managed to smash them, so I'm expecting them to smash Norwich as well. So I think Jamie Vardy, the safe option, as I said, most captain option, so a little bit safer there. With Tammy Abraham, differential, probably going to be the most differential out of these three. Bournemouth is a great fixture. Just take a look at midweek and see how he gets on. He's been struggling a little bit with injury, with that hip injury, but I think that he should be fine for this one. But as I said, just take a look at that Champions League fixture and see how he gets on. But Bournemouth at the back, losing Nathan Ake this weekend, so defensively they're looking quite unassured. So I'm expecting Tammy Abraham to do well here. And it is Chelsea at home, so a great fixture there. And then Sadio Mane, probably the second most captain option here. Watford haven't been looking that great. I know recently they haven't been conceding that many, but I expect Liverpool to absolutely demolish Watford at home. I think that Mane and Salah have both had their rest, so I'm expecting them to both play midweek, and I'm expecting them both to play on the weekend then. And then we're going to see how they do, and then they go into the Club World Cup, as I mentioned, and hopefully they can get some rest there. But I do think if I had to rate these options, I'd probably say Jamie Vardy number 1, Sadio Mane number 2, and then Tammy Abraham number 3. But as I said, I don't think this week there's going to be a bad captaincy option. I think all these 3 players are going to return. It's just whether who's going to return more. So I spoke about Vardy not having that high of a ceiling, and I think Sadio Mane has a higher ceiling. On this weekend, he kind of showed us that if Leicester are going to score, it's probably going to be Jamie Vardy, whereas with Liverpool, if they do score, there's a multiple players that could get on the end of those assists and returns. So I think Jamie Vardy is going to be the best captaincy option this week, and I'm probably going to be going for him. But stay tuned for the team selection, where we talk about all things my team. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. As I said, subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet, and hit that bell because there's going to be tons of videos coming up this festive period. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter at DayvyFPL for further updates, and updates even on my squad. I'm going to be signing off. This has been DayvyFPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.